glasses 1 second. Good evening, everyone. My name is Kimberly Watkins, and I'm here to speak about women and small businesses. We've been talking tonight about the pay gap, where in corporate America, we know that the pay gap is large, but on Main Street America, it's even worse, at the rate of 66 cents on the dollar. And this is alarming and needs to change, but I actually want to talk a little bit about a different facet of pay equity, which is job and financial security, a reality that women often face when small companies began to thrive. And this is where my very, very personal story comes in. 12 years ago, I was a marketing executive with a growing young company called Manhattan GMAT. It's a test prep service for MBA admissions. I'd been one of its first teachers, and I was its very first employee, focused on growing the company. And I did a little bit of everything, like small mom and pop businesses do. I was the person taping flyers to bus stops on Broadway, and I even snuck postcards into Kaplan test prep books in Barnes & Noble. And by the time we'd expanded nationally and online, about 5 years, I was making an excellent living, and I thought that I had job security. But then the founder decided that he wanted to do something else, so he hired a man to run the company. And that man's name is Andrew Yang. The impact on me was pretty positive initially. Andrew promoted me and gave me more aggressive goals, and I met those goals. But about a year later, on the third day that I was back from my honeymoon, Andrew Yang asked me to come into his office after everyone else had left for the day. And behind closed doors, he opined that I wouldn't want to keep on working as hard as I had now that I started this new personal chapter in my life. That as a married woman, I'd want to focus on my new life. Despite hitting every single revenue mark set for me, and despite not a single employment infraction over the 6 years that I worked for the company, Andrew Yang fired me because I got married. And just like that, my new life was shattered. My financial security was blown to bits. I have never spoken publicly about this personal story. We actually conjured a lie when I left to save me from the embarrassment. But as you can probably imagine, if you know who Andrew Yang is, recent events have brought these memories back with a vengeance and reopened wounds that I have never quite recovered from. So I decided today to come forward with my story. We need action on gender issues. And if the high profile of the individual involved with me in this story helps us gain traction, I say let's go for it. The pay gap and job security are part of the institutional patriarchy in this country. They're part of Time's Up. They're part of Me Too. Andrew Yang didn't harass me physically, nothing like that, but he did treat me unjustly, and he violated me economically. I'm ready to fight for solutions, and I hope you are too. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for testifying today. Your courage means a great deal to me, so thank you for telling your story publicly. Is there anything, thinking back, that you think government could have done? Was there a way for thinking about us moving forward in the product of tonight's conversation? Is there anything that local government especially could have done?
That's a really good question. And in my written testimony, I write a little bit about how, I don't think I would have allowed this to happen to me today. I think in our climate today, I would never have agreed to the deal that we struck and walked out of there the way I did. I do think that it's important that at-will employees understand their rights. So as an at-will employee, I could be fired for any reason. That was made perfectly clear to me throughout my tenure at the company. But Andrew Yang gave me a reason, and that was a really unethical one. And I didn't know what to do after that point. Now, I was jet-lagged and exhausted, and I was sort of drunk on my newly married existence. So part of it was that I I believed in that the best would come of the change, and I moved and put it past me to the best of my ability. But I do think that local governments could be more active or more proactive in understanding how small businesses interact with their employees, and to recognize that in small businesses, this more severe pay gap. And then things like the statistic that only 3% of venture capital was awarded to small businesses owned by women last year. Men are making a lot more money with small businesses, especially when it comes to mergers and buyouts and venture capital. And so anything that we can do in terms of legislation to move in that direction for women in small business, I think would be helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Connor. I'm the political director for the International Union of Journeymen and Allied Trades, a labor union